This is tesofensine, truly a miracle molecule. It works through the brain by increasing our neurotransmitters dopamine and serotonin and adrenaline, which means more energy, more confidence, more drive. Now, originally it was investigated to be a cure, and I'm not saying it's going to cure, and it's not FDA approved for this yet, but Parkinson's and also Alzheimer's. Now, it's designed for mental performance, but what they found when they did the studies is that it increases the metabolism. So the body burns significantly more body fat, and it also decreases appetite very significantly. I'm personally taking tesofensine right now. I have two different bottles here. One is 0.5 milligrams per capsule, and one is 0.25 milligrams per capsule. I've experimented with many different dosages. I've found that for me, the optimal dosage is either 0.5 milligrams 3 times per week or 0.25 milligrams every day. Now that's a low dosage. Doctors are going to prescribe a much higher dosage than that. But the reason I chose this low dosage is because I feel that it works at this dosage. My appetite is less, which is not always a good thing, and it's not actually why I use it, but I do use it for an increased metabolism where I can shred body fat very fast, and also mainly for the mental performance benefits. There's been nothing else that I've used that's quite given me the same mental energy and drive consistently on a 24-hour basis as tesofensine. Now, I think it's going to become a lot more popular soon, of course, especially when doctors start prescribing it soon. Right now, because it's still undergoing clinical trials, it's not FDA approved, but it's likely to be FDA approved in the very near future. What's going to be FDA approved for? Probably for fat loss, appetite suppression, and also mental performance. Now, there's a lot of other reuptake inhibitors on the market that are prescribed by doctors, but the difference is some of them increase serotonin too much or increase adrenaline too much. They don't feel good. They become highly addicting, and they have a lot of side effects. I haven't noticed any significant side effects from tesofensine, which is miraculous. To be able to get all of these benefits without side effects is kind of hard to believe. How is that possible? Well, it's the evolution of technology. You see, there's been serotonin reuptake inhibitors, dopamine reuptake inhibitors, all kinds of different energy boosting, mood boosting, antidepressant medications. And over time, they're improving their benefit to risk ratio. It's just evolution of technology. If you take an antidepressant and an energy booster, an appetite suppressant from 20 years ago, probably going to have a lot of side effects, not going to be as effective. But with tesofensine, it's brand new, it's extremely effective, it's got less side effects, and we're going to find out very soon through the clinical trials whether there's any other side effects to be concerned of. But I now have most of my clients using tesofensine, and so far, no problems, except for when they go high in the dosage. Now, the doctors may prescribe 1 milligram per day. Remember, my dosage was 0.5 milligrams every other day or 0.25 milligrams every day. The doctors are probably going to be prescribing on a regular basis 1 milligram per day. Now, I did 1 milligram per day, and it was not pleasant for me because I also like to drink coffee or take a pre-workout. And what happens is the tesofensine has your dopamine and your adrenaline already high. And then when you drink coffee and stimulants and things like that, you just get too much energy. You're just like, whoa, you get manic, right? So I like to have the lower dosage of tesofensine. That way I can still drink my pre-workout, my caffeine, and then I can spike my energy during windows of time during the day. Whereas if we were to take 1 milligram of tesofensine, we would have energy also in the nighttime. So I want to do a lower dosage of tesofensine. That way during the daytime, I have a lot of energy when I especially drink a cup of coffee and it amplifies the effects of the coffee. But then at nighttime, I can drop down to a more relaxed state and I don't get the side effects. It actually doesn't interfere with sleep too much because the increase in dopamine decreases things like restless leg syndrome for me, and the increase in serotonin actually makes me feel more calm psychologically, makes it easier to sleep. But the increase in adrenaline can interfere with sleep because your heart rate is going faster. Now, that's causing a lot more fat burning. It's one of the reasons why tesofensine burns such a huge amount of fat, is because it's increasing adrenaline and our heart rate increases. But I personally like to block those effects at night. So I like higher dopamine. I like higher serotonin at night. That's fine. That's great. But I don't want higher adrenaline at night. And so I take another supplement in combination with it. I stack it at night with propranolol. Propranolol is also easily widely available from the same place tesofensine is, and it's also a prescription medication available from doctors. It's widely prescribed for decreasing blood pressure. I use it for anxiety and for just putting my body in a more relaxed state, a rest and recovery state instead of an energy state. My goal is to have more energy, more vitality, more drive during the day, but then balance that with what I call the Tony Huge laws of biochemistry, physics, pendulum theory, balance it with nighttime rest and relaxation, which means I want to drop my adrenaline very low at night. And that's why I stack it with propranolol and also nebivolol sometimes. Propranolol works full body, blocking adrenaline in the brain and all the parts of the body. So the whole body and the brain can relax more. And then nebivolol works mainly just in the heart to decrease heart rate and relieve pressure on the heart, which also then relaxes my body. And I take them both together at night. The propranolol only lasts about 5 hours. So that first 5 hours of sleep, I go in a deep relaxed state. It's okay that adrenaline goes up later because that can also help with REM sleep. But to get to sleep and to stay asleep during the first critical 5 hours, I found propranolol extremely helpful. Not everybody needs to take propranolol along with tesofensine. I just found that stack is just magically synergistic. Now, I will continue to use tesofensine. My girlfriends use tesofensine. My clients use tesofensine. It's a miracle. We're lucky right now in this window of time. It's available for a very low price for how powerful it is. And in the future, I think the cost is going to go up a lot. When it actually gets prescribed by doctors, then the medical industry is going to charge a huge markup. So right now is a nice window of time where it's much less expensive and very available. And then later, we still have access to it, but later, a year from now, a couple years from now, then we'll have to get a prescription for it. So I think now is a good time for me to experiment with it, because before going to the hassle and the cost of getting a prescription, if I could just experiment with it myself, know that I like it and want to continue using it, then I can deal with getting a prescription for it when that's required years into the future. I hope that if you use tesofensine, use it safely. It's a research chemical. I'm not promoting it for human consumption, but there's a lot of people who are being part of research studies out there. Make sure you sign up and do it correctly. Just make sure that you are careful what you combine it with, because it's already increasing dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline. So like I said, with the coffee, drink coffee, then adrenaline goes even higher. And if you take something that increases serotonin, your serotonin could go too high. So for example, taking tesofensine plus SSRI plus 5-HTP, or eating cheese or tyramine containing foods, now you're going to have too much serotonin, which is serotonin syndrome, which then you feel like you're having a panic attack. We don't want that. So that's why, again, I like the lower dosage of tesofensine, the 0.5 milligrams every other day, for example. And every other day is fine because it's got a long half-life, basically lasts a week. Another caution at the 1 milligram dosage that the doctors are likely going to be prescribing soon, that could have withdrawals. So if someone were to take a month of tesofensine, 1 milligram per day, and then they stop taking it, about 1 week later when it's out of the system, then their brain neurotransmitters are going to drop lower, and they're going to experience some withdrawal symptoms of low brain neurotransmitters. However, at the dosage that I use, my clients use, my girlfriends use, we haven't found any withdrawals. Nobody's had withdrawals that I've supervised who've been using the 1/4 dosage. Remember, the prescription dosage is probably going to be 1 milligram, and we're microdosing it at 0.25 milligrams. We're getting a lot of benefits, and we're not seeing any withdrawals or side effects at that dosage. Again, careful what you stack it with, though. Be swell and swell, friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution. A day natural is a day wasted.